Want to make your money work for you instead of just sitting in your bank account? Well, I'm Crystal from Ready Set Investing, and today we're breaking down the 5 investing questions that everybody's been asking in 2026. Is investing gambling? Yes, they both involve risk, and yes, they have the potential for gains and losses. However, the reality is this. People can use the stock market as a gambling mechanism. This is how I like to think about gambling. When it comes to gambling, it is a game of chance where people make short-term bets, right? For example, when you buy a lottery ticket, it's purely speculative. Once that ticket is bought, it may be worth a ton or it's worthless depending on the numbers that are drawn for that day. Now, if you're looking to maximize the potential of the stock market and you're relying on chance, emotion, or even short-term excitement, you really are selling yourself short. Now, when you invest in the market, you need to understand that the stock market is made up of publicly traded companies that produce real services and goods. What that means is when you buy shares, what you're saying is that you're investing in long-term prospects of those companies. For example, when you're buying Apple shares, you're not buying out of chance, right? You're buying because Apple creates earnings, it creates jobs, and it uses products and services that you yourself use, along with millions of other people that use it as well. So you see other people using it today, which is a good indication to you that they may also use it in the future. So you're buying based on research and data, and not just chance alone. So when you look at the comparison between a lottery ticket and buying Apple shares, we can clearly see that investing is all about ownership and gambling is all about guessing. You have to ask yourself, is this a guessing game for you? Or are you actually investing in companies that you truly believe in, or at least you see yourself using in the future? Now, this is a common question that a lot of my clients ask me. As a 9-to-5er, should I pick stocks or should someone pick them for me? This is what I would suggest. For beginners, indexing is one of the best ways to enter and access the stock market, hands down. It allows you to buy something and forget about it because you are investing for the long term. We know historically that the S&P 500 has been positive over a 20-year period. Low-cost index funds or ETFs allow you to buy the market as a whole. Instead of trying to find one winning stock like the lottery ticket, you're putting your money into the growth of the entire economy rather than just the luck of one CEO. Now, this is very helpful because it helps with risk management and it's considered a lot safer. For example, if you had to have bought the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, ticker symbol VOO, what you're saying is that you're investing in the largest and the best US companies that are dominating the market. Now remember, the market will always represent the best companies. This is why the S&P 500 is so popular, because it's a representation of the largest 500 companies because of its market cap weighted. So you're probably thinking at this point, okay, that sounds great, but who should be picking stocks? Well, these are the people that I think should be picking stocks. 1, those who enjoy the excitement and are invested in research and data. Of course, professional traders, because they have the knowledge, the skill set, and the insight to be able to make those decisions. But at the same time, you don't have to be a professional trader. I do believe that if you are invested in doing the research, collecting the data, and you do get some form of excitement in picking stocks, then by all means, go for it. But at the same time, keep in mind, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And that's one key thing that I would keep in mind if you do go in the direction of holding ETFs in addition to picking stocks. How much money do I need to start? Well, from what I've seen from experience, most people will wait until they are rich, have more money, or are debt-free. But what happens is when you go in that direction, you're actually building regret. I see a lot of my clients say, I wish I started earlier. I wish I started earlier. And that's a psychology of regret. It doesn't come from starting small. It comes from not starting at all. In 2026, they've introduced fractional shares here in Canada. What that means is that you can buy a piece of the world's biggest companies with as little as $1. You can start as low as $10. Remember, the key to investing is consistency. I didn't start with $10,000. I believe I started with about $1,000. But after $1,000 initial deposit, I kept it consistent where I made sure that automatically every other week $100 would be directly deposited into my brokerage accounts. And then as time progressed, that $100 every other week turned into $200 every other week, and then $300 every other week, because that's what allowed me to be able to contribute to my brokerage account. Now, that's not to say that you throw all your money into investing. If your debt interest is higher than say 7%, or we're hitting about 19, 21% for credit cards, so I would definitely focus on paying those off first if you can. Now, if you are holding loans like say student loans or a mortgage and it's less than the 7%, then you might be able to build that wealth in addition to paying those minimums off, right? So I would suggest that List out all of the debt that you hold. If you know that it's credit card and it's 19-20%, try to aim to pay those off first. If you have any other additional loans, whether that be your mortgage, student loans, or even a car loan, depending on what the interest rate is, if it's lower than 7%, you may be able to do both at the same time, where you can start building towards your investing and putting money towards your brokerage account in addition to paying your mortgage off, then do that. But I would do it smartly. Don't put yourself in a corner or in a bit of a pinch where you're pretty much left with nothing, because the last thing that you want to do is put all your money into a brokerage account, and then when the time comes and you actually need that money right away and you have to liquidate it, it's actually going to cost you more to have to liquidate all of those investments that you did early, instead of allowing it to build compound interest over time. Is the market too high to buy right now? Now, something that you probably commonly hear is people think the market's too high, I'll just wait later to buy. And then when they start waiting, they start noticing that the market continues to keep going up and up and up. And then they're just still waiting to find the perfect opportunity. Now, what's one of the biggest drawbacks that we hear from that? I should have invested earlier, right? But here's the thing, that is the same psychology of regret again, like what we've discussed earlier. When you wait to feel safe, right? Waiting to feel safe is great, but it also costs a lot of opportunity. What you need to understand is that the market will always hit all-time highs consistently. If you waited for a drop every time the market felt expensive, you would miss out on a lot of major gains. So this is what I would suggest. Time in the market beats timing the market, and you've probably heard that before. So I wouldn't really time your entry point either. If you know that you're going to be investing for the long run, you're going to have multiple opportunities to catch it while it's high and also to buy when it's low. The worst thing that you can do is try to time the perfect moment to put your money to work. I always say that the longer that you wait, the longer that your money misses out to making you a little bit richer each day. How do I start investing? Well, starting to invest is very simple. The first thing that I would do is open up an investment account. Second, start very simple. You don't need to find the perfect stock like we've discussed before. Start with a broad market index fund or an ETF. Third, automate it. That's going to be the game changer. Invest small amounts consistently over time and make sure that does not come to a stop. Because investing is not about timing the perfect moment, it's about building the habit. And the sooner that you start, the less regret you will have later on. I find that the biggest mistake people make isn't choosing wrong, it's never starting at all, period. So there you have it. Those are the 5 questions that everybody's asking in 2026 when it comes to investing. Remember, investing is not about luck or even timing the market. Most importantly, it's just about starting, being consistent, making smart and informed decisions. The sooner you start, the sooner you can turn your 9-to-5 paychecks into long-term generational wealth.